Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Harold Wood. I am Director of Sales Operations at Kuzi Group. We are a large supplier of promotional products as well as a manufacturer.
Awesome. Thank you. And Jonas?
What's up, everyone? I'm Jonas, and I lead go-to-market systems at Sigma Computing as part of the RevOps crew. Sigma, we are kind of the crux of the product was to democratize data, get the most value out of the data that's in your warehouse. So we started as a BI tool built on spreadsheets, but we've evolved from that to where you can build your own apps on top of any data, first party, third party that's in the warehouse. So really cool from a go-to-market systems perspective. Really stoked to talk about Glean today.
All right, well, let's dive in. Lots of salespeople are guilty of being addicted to LinkedIn. And I recall at the very beginning of kind of the AI boom, a lot of salespeople using generative AI to write emails to their prospects. How has your AI journey evolved, though? I know that that's maybe where some of the salespeople in your organization started, but we'd love to hear for a minute how that's changed and how you're using AI today. Harold?
Well, yeah, if I can start. We started like everyone else, starting with, OpenAI or ChatGPT, having our sales reps write those messages, especially those when you're sending something, you want to have a positive tone, but you're telling the message that, yeah, you can't do that, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer. So while that's great, it didn't provide a lot of security. We have a lot of information. We've been around for over 40 years. So we have a lot of detailed information about our customers, their clients. So we wanted to make sure it was protected. So we moved over to Glean for basically security reasons. We've stayed, though, because of a couple different things. Basically, security is the foremost, but the ease of search of all that information that we have.
That's awesome. Jonas, what does your journey look like at Sigma Group or Sigma Computing?
Yeah, very, very similar. I think everyone, if you spend any time like as an enablement or ops person, like sitting down, shadowing sellers and their workflows, like they're going to be spending a lot of time in ChatGPT. And one of the first things we noticed was, hey, I'm going to download a Gong transcript and throw it in GPT. And that's obviously a big no-no from a like security, like governance point of view. But I think it comes down to like the big call out for me was, oh, well, it's because we haven't given them an alternative system to actually do these workflows in. Like we didn't give people a single source of truth. So that kind of highlighted the problem for me. And, everyone's using AI, but I think getting value out of it is a totally different thing. So whole conversation to be had there. I think we started with search for Glean. So like very similar points that, that Harold made about like governance, access to the right content. But, for me, it was just ultimately we had a ton of ramping reps and we needed them to have access to all the content in one place.
Yeah. I know in speaking to you guys in the past, you started to play around not just with search, but with Glean's agents. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you're dipping your toe in kind of the agentic waters? Harold, you can go ahead and start.
Yeah, so one of the things like our sellers preparing for meetings, obviously with 40 years of information about your customers, we want to do is really provide them a single source of truth. So, I mean, we use Salesforce as a CRM. We also have SharePoint, OneDrive, where we're keeping a lot of our own marketing materials and customer information in those dreaded Excel sheets that Jonas was talking about. As well as, other systems like BI systems for sales reporting. So what we've done is we've had Glean sit on top of all those, given it access to that, so that it really, when you're looking at a customer, our reps were pulling, that information. Took them about 45 minutes to pull all that information from one meeting from all those different sources. Now with a single pane of truth and like an Agent 360, they're able to pull that information in about 2 minutes and really free up more time for actually selling versus doing the administrative part of their job.
That's great. Yeah, super helpful. We have that same use case at Glean. And Jonas, how about you guys? I think some of your AEs have been experimenting recently.
Definitely. So we started with search, and I'll mainly because my background's enablement, and I hate the concept of a bloated content management system.
Mm.
So could definitely go in the weeds there if we wanted, but like that was I think like phase one for us, and then where we're starting to move is to your point more of the agentic stuff.
Mhm.
The first thing that we're starting to toy around with is outbound research.
Mhm.
And I love that because with Glean,
Mhm.
you can build agents and you can call different LLM models.
Mhm.
So we can use OpenAI's web search to search for things like 10Ks, earnings reports, job postings, learn a little bit more about a company in recent news articles. How are they monetizing today?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like what might actually matter to them from a business priority perspective. But then in sequential steps for the agent, we're able to call other LLMs that might specialize in different things. So we could leverage like Claude for
Mhm.
actually writing the email.
Mhm.
Um, so we kind of started with the outbound research agent and the email writer because I think PG is just like top of mind for everybody today. It's harder than ever to break
Yeah.
through from a email like messaging perspective. I think the other thing was we have a pretty green team, especially like on the biz dev side. And I think while everyone's using AI in their roles, I don't think everyone's like the most expert prompt engineer because maybe they've never been at another playbook SaaS company where they have a good model for what does good look like.
Mhm.
And they never had a manager that taught them like what is a good email. So
Mhm.
we're able to be a little bit more, I guess, prescriptive by baking that into the agent and then hopefully use that in combination with like really strong enablement to show people, hey, this is how you build, this is how you write a good email, and this is why it's a good email.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Obviously, there's metrics involved in making the decision to implement Glean, and then in improving pipeline and productivity. What's been your experience since rolling Glean out in your respective organizations? Like, how have you seen the results that you were hoping for? What are the metrics that we're tying to for you guys to show success? Harold?
Yeah, for me and Kuzi Group, we've seen about a 20% increase in our pipeline. We do a lot of transactions, so we're kind of a combination. If you look at a promotional product supplier, think of Amazon, Etsy, and a manufacturer rolled all into one thing, and that's what we're doing. So we're processing 2,500 orders a day, and in doing that, we've seen a 20% increase in the pipeline, and then around a 13% increase in our large orders, which has been a huge boon to us. While everyone else is kind of stagnant this year, we are seeing growth. So it's definitely helped our sellers have more time to sell and really follow up on all of those opportunities in the pipeline.
That's great. That's huge. Jonas, have you seen hopefully similar success, different but similar success?
We've seen a lot of success, but man, could you share some of that 20%
Yeah,
pipeline uplift
yeah.
with us? That'd be sick. That's baller. Um, for us, the North Star was when I when we first brought on board Glean probably about a year ago, we were in the process of doubling our sales team year over year. So that was like intense, like
Mhm. Yeah.
both from like an enablement lift perspective, but also you have a lot of like first time managers, a lot of young managers in seat. You're talking about all the usual like growing pains of a high growth org where people are coming in and don't have access to, historically, tribal knowledge, company internal knowledge, what has
Mhm.
worked. And so how
Mhm.
do you unlock that for people faster? I think is key. And we were able to do that with Glean. And so for us, the metrics impact, because you could talk about vanity metrics like, oh, people spend less time searching for content, which definitely has an impact, right? If you're spending less time finding things and sifting through noise, you're spending more time selling, which is good. But less about that for us, like the hard kind of bottom line impact came to reduce ramp.
Mhm.
So we reduced ramp by about 50%. So instead of it
Wow.
taking like, at least in commercial, so instead of it taking 9 months for a commercial seller to onboard or to ramp and hit full like productivity, it now takes them 4.5 months. And that's it's going to be because of a lot of different things we've done from an enablement perspective, from a systems process, hiring really good managers, hiring the right AE profile. But Glean definitely played a massive role in that.
Yeah. Wow. That's an incredible number. It's funny because at Glean we can't judge those kind of things because we've always had Glean. So we don't have the percentage improvement like we get to hear our customers have. But if you guys could swap a little of each other's metrics there, I think that would help everybody, right? That's amazing.
Absolutely. If I can get some of his, ramp up time back, and I'll give him a little growth, I think we'll both be using Glean for a long time.
Yeah, it's a testament to how great Glean really is. How much of that success do you attribute to your adoption plan and how you actually rolled Glean out at your respective organizations? What went into that? Jonas, maybe you can start us off with this one.
Happy to. I think the Chrome extension definitely helps, and that's like a functionality, but I think it's super important given that reps spend time in 800 apps a day. Not really, but Sales Nav, Gmail, and to be able to really quickly, when I'm potentially like following up with a customer or following up with a prospect conversation, what's the first thing that comes up on a call? Hey, do you have any examples of this? Do you have any templates? Do you have any guides? And to just pull up the Chrome extension and really simply search, all of our, website, because everything from a customer case studies to blog articles to other external content on our website is indexed in Glean. Really quickly be able to hyperlink that or summarize a little snippet from the Chrome extension is really powerful. On a more like kind of adoption, like rollout strategy, I think angle, like for us, everything started with just like nailing the search bit first, and then was reinforcing. Okay, well, if you reinforcing Glean as like a major part of the tech stack, like you always go to Glean first. Like don't go to Slack to search for things. You always go to Glean first. And we made that really clear in onboarding. And I think that got us some buy-in there. And then as we started to develop some champions through that, so people that are, onboarded, they're now successful. They attribute a lot of their success and fast ramp time to Glean. These are the individuals that I've been pulling aside to do like little tiger teams. And it's like, hey, I'm going to give you the ability to build agents in Glean. What are some parts of your workflow that you're spending too much time on? Let me show you how to build Glean agents. And we've kind of been doing a bit of a, I guess, guerrilla marketing, kind of like bottoms up approach, for lack of better words. And that opening up like agent building to the reps has been super helpful.
That's great. Our onboarding process kind of doubles as our AI best practices, right? For prompt engineering and agent building. Obviously, our own GTM team needs to know how to build agents really well and understand how to be good prompt engineers. But I love to hear that that's kind of also embedded in what you're doing in onboarding and kind of starting them out the right way in an AI native way. Harold, what's been your experience with adoption and how you guys kind of rolled out Glean? What was that adoption process like?
Very similar to Jonas. We used like a crawl, walk, run kind of methodology. The first step was using Glean to search for all those documents in SharePoint. Again, with 40 years of data and information and marketing, they were able to go out there and find what they were looking for so much more effectively with Glean than searching in SharePoint or OneDrive. That instantly said to them, this is a tool I need to use. Then we started with prompts and agents to kind of expand on that role. I think moving into next year, we're going to adopt even more of the capabilities of Glean. I know it works very well with some applications. Microsoft is more a Microsoft house. So that's something you guys have added on, and we'll start to look at, agents for designing your day or planning your week, to pull from all those different sources and say, here's your checklist of things to do. So instead of just getting up in the morning feeling overwhelmed with everything you have to do, it'll kind of give you that roadmap of your day or your week and really help them be better sellers.
Yeah. We have an internal agent that we use here at Glean that I think gets sent out to pretty much everybody who subscribes to it, which is called Horton, and it is your day's tasks, your all of your kind of unanswered Slacks and unanswered emails and unanswered things from meetings and decks and things like that. So it really does help kind of keep up with the to-do list that you don't have to write down manually anymore. I think that people forget that implementing AI anywhere is almost as much about change management as it is about just AI, right? Because this is so new to people and not everybody really is AI native. I think GTM organizations are at probably more of an advantage than potentially other functions, because I feel like AEs have been going to Chat GPT for so long already, and we know that's not the secure way to do it. What I guess road bumps did you guys have in adopting Glean? Was there any pushback? Was there any disruption in trying to get folks to move over from what they were doing in their personal lives or what they were doing in a less secure way to using Glean? What was there anything that was in the way of that adoption? Harold, I'll toss it to you.
Perfect. Like anything, when you're trying to implement something new, people are creatures of habit. They want to, they're used to doing what they do, the path of least resistance. I know how to go to Google. I know how to search. So we implemented don't Google it, Glean it. That was kind of our call to action, because, in meetings and trainings, we'd always ask them, well, what do you do when you want to look at this customer or look at this information? Oh, I Google it. Well, let's stop doing that. Let's use a tool that has the security, but also has our internal information. So it marries that external search capabilities with all the internal information. Now you're getting a more complete look at the customer or the end user, what they've purchased. And it really is, it's the idea moment. Those light bulbs go off and people go, oh, that's why we're doing exactly. But I think like anything, it takes them 30 days to create a new habit. So you just have to be on them and give them the reason why this is such an impactful tool.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Glean it, don't Google it. Jonas, how about you? Did you find were there any road bumps in actually getting folks to adopt and use this? I know you already mentioned the Chrome extension was a huge piece, but was there anything that you wish maybe would have gone a little bit better, or would have gone differently?
I want that T-shirt and that catchphrase.
We say Glean it all the time. So I mean,
royalties for that.
I think Google might not like that.
Okay, yeah, that is fair. I've heard of them. Let's see. Similarly, like no major pushback. Like a lot of it was just, let's see. Oh, I'm just used to searching for things in Slack, or I'm just used to doing things in Chat GPT, and it's just kind of breaking that behavior. And I think, like anything, when it comes to an enablement best practice, is you can show people things, and a lot of the times you'll get this response, oh, that's really cool, which is just like slang for, oh, that's really cool, but how does it help me make more money? How does it help me do my job? And so whenever you're doing enablement on new systems, I think it comes down to being really prescriptive with, okay, we have this big problem of building pipeline is really hard, and you're spending all of your time on this. We're a high growth company. Quotas are going to go up next year. So are you going to work 50, 60 hours a week, or do you want to work the same amount per week, but just be more efficient with your time? And then you kind of start with the why, and then you go into the training where it's, hey, these are the 3 workflows that Glean can really unlock for you. Because nobody's going to remember more than that in the like initial training or the initial rollout. So it's, you start with that, and then we kind of do, like, I'm not doing as good of a job of it now because I'm just slammed with a lot of things, but in our first kind of 60, 90 days of Glean, we were doing like micro, like kind of looms every day of like, hey, here's this new thing, like tip and trick. And it was constantly reminding people of, hey, here's a way you can use Glean in your workflow. And a lot of times it wasn't coming from me, and it wasn't coming from other enablement people. It was coming from frontline sales managers. It was coming from high performing AEs. And I think when people see their peers do something, it's like, okay, I want in on that, and I want that. And that especially helped with like enterprise seller adoption as well. If enterprise sales team sees the one majors rep using Glean to make their life easier and to
Yeah.
do their job,
Yeah.
they're going to lean in.
Yeah. Yeah, it truly does. I mean, obviously we drink our own Kool-Aid, and me saying it doesn't have as much impact as you guys do, but I feel like Glean really does help us in enablement and on our sales teams work smarter. Like, people are always talking about working smarter, not harder, and it truly does help with that. We have a really great question on the chat right now that's actually related to the kind of change management and implementation topic. We've seen lots of really quick implementation, as short as a few weeks, but what was it like for you guys to implement Glean? What was your timeline from when you actually, rolled it out, and then when you kind of started seeing results? What did that look like? Jonas, why don't you continue and kick us off here?
Yeah, it was, oh shoot. I mean, it was fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. Like, IT got the integration set up insanely fast. And then pretty much once everything was in Glean, like, we were ready to rock. Like, sure, you needed to do the comms, the training. Hey, this is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the adoption curve stuff that you have to address, like, after that initial training, right? Of, hey, break this behavior, searching here in this tool or going to this place. You can just go to Glean instead. No, it was lightning fast. And trying to think, it was when we first implemented Glean, it was like pre a lot of the agents and agentic capabilities. So I think that'd be like a little different now, in the sense to where, like, and I'm thinking ahead of like, oh, what would I do differently? Like, I'd probably want to show up with like a list of, hey, here's use cases that we want to build. And then you launch with those initial like use cases on the agent side. But it was really fast.
Yeah, that's exactly what our process is like today, actually, for our AEs. Harold, how about you? What was your timeline and from implementation to kind of starting to see results or adoption?
Yeah. So like Jonas said, our implementation from an IT perspective was probably about 2 weeks. We did 2 weeks of testing with a small subscript, our early adopters, our super users in different areas. And we had it on and running within a month. Again, the first focus was the search capabilities, and adoption on that went, it took off faster than we anticipated because it was so easy.
Yeah.
The prompts and the agentic work, that's taken a little bit longer time because, again, people are used to their habits. They used to go. We have people who have been here for 20 years. Yeah. So they're used to a process. Yeah. So that's been a little more of a disruptor, but I think, from at least getting them into that system and knowing its capabilities, we were probably up and running months' time.
Great. That's wonderful. Glad to hear that our customer outcomes team is hard at work making our customers successful. We're nearing the end here, and I'm wondering if there's anything that you're still waiting for from AI, something that's on your wish list, your honey-do list, that you wish that Glean would get to next. Harold, why don't you take us home?
And I actually was at a different event, and I saw the Glean booth at this event, and I went up to him and I was like, hey, the big thing I know we have agents. I know we're ready to roll. They can produce it, but how can I schedule them and get them to send me stuff proactively? That's the biggest thing. If they can start doing that, I'll have 100% adoption on my sales team, because they will sit there Sunday, schedule everything, and then as that comes in, and I think that's something that you guys are working on. So hats off to you for being that perspective, looking forward.
Yeah. I think that's coming this month, scheduling and triggers. So stay tuned. Jonas, how about you? What's on your honey-do list for Glean for AI in the coming months?
Ooh, let's see.
Now's your chance. Throw out the craziest thing you can think.
For
record
Glean.
it and send it directly to Arvin Jane.
Okay. For AI in general, I was gonna, and then I'm gonna like think about my Glean answer while I'm answering this. Sure. I think AI in general is just in any AI company and anywhere, it just comes down to like better templates and onboarding so that you can like because every SaaS company and every AI company is selling time to value, but it's like, no, time to value is less time me building.
Yeah.
Like I want to check a few boxes, say what systems I have, and then give me a recommendation for 10 agents already pre-built that are going to make our life easier today.
Yeah.
For Glean, I don't know. Besides like mining Bitcoin and making me a millionaire, let me think here. I mean, I'm pretty excited about, I'm going to just copy Harold. I think the scheduling and triggers bit is like really, really awesome. Actually building slides.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a really tricky one. It's on everybody's wish list, including mine, but I was waiting for one of you to bring that up.
It's such an important part of like, maybe that's my enablement bias, but also just the notion of a POV readout deck.
Yeah.
And listen to a gong call, point out these things. We do a lot of training. We give it some frameworks for always use these 3 slides in this structure, pull out these 3, why Sigma, why now, why anything, bullet points, throw that into the deck, money. That, because that's where sellers spend so much time, is fumbling around Google Slides, especially the enterprise sellers, not to like, type anyone, but it's like, why?
It's a good ask. Honestly, it's one we hear all the time and one that I personally have too. So I understand it deeply and can empathize that we're not quite there yet. It is a tricky one to do though, technically and architecturally. Well, you guys have been lovely. Thank you for sharing all of your enablement, kind of RevOps insights with us today. I know that we're going to get the recording out to everybody by the end of the week. I know I speak for myself when I say anybody can reach out to me personally and ask questions about Glean. Our Glean team hops on sales calls all the time to talk about our enablement Glean team, to talk about how we're using it and how our sales teams are using it. And I won't speak for you guys, but I think your experiences have been positive, and it was great for you to share with everybody today. So thank you very much for your time. All right.
Thank you so much.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you.